Okay, hang on one sec. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm here with Brandon Wagner. He is the head coach at Clemson for the men's team. Brandon, appreciate you coming on. Just so everyone knows, Clemson are hosting a PTT event coming up here in a couple of weeks and also towards the end of October. Brandon, first question I have for you. Why are you deciding to host these events?
Hey, James. No, thanks for having me. It's a great opportunity for the guys to get matches. We get to watch them play. So, benefit for us to continue, on the development side to get information, to have them compete, the opportunity to be, on their home courts, still to be able to stay in class and stay into their normal routines, but also get that competitive opportunity, multiple days in a row, for the week. Another opportunity for them to make additional money during the week as well. Obviously, if they're progressing, so a little bonus to the guys there. And the competition is great. So it's we'll have some people from other schools, from other parts of the country come and play at a high level, but also opportunity for them to battle each other too in a more official setting.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to coming your way. I think I'm going to be on site for that one. So I've never actually been to Clemson, so I'm excited.
Awesome.
But let's just turn the corner a little bit and talk about you as a coach, right? I think it's fair to say we don't have to go back and look at all the stats, but in my opinion, I think under your leadership, I think you've turned the program around. I think I saw something very briefly that, it's the highest ranking or wins in a decade. And to me, that is obviously incredibly powerful. But tell me and the people who listen to this, what do you believe in? What are some key things as a coach, as a program that are non-negotiables for you that you stand by?
Sure. I think it's you don't always know maybe the athlete perfectly or getting to the to the exact core of the athlete until you've had a lot of time with them. When you're making some decisions or some quicker decisions when you're recruiting and accepting people in the program. But ideally you're looking for players that definitely have upside and potential, that have great character, and that are coachable. And obviously have aspirations to achieve great things, whether they're deciding to play pro tennis or just have an amazing, collegiate experience. So that's kind of like, some of the basics that you hope that you're checking those boxes and doing the best you can as a coach when you're recruiting and identifying those things. Also part of that is really giving these guys an amazing experience, during this time. There's not too many opportunities in this sport where you get to be a part of a team, besides kind of Davis Cup or maybe your club, home matches. But it's just an amazing time in life. I'm sure if you could talk to so many coaches that have done it themselves at this age, we'd all love to go back and do anything we can to do it again.
Yeah.
But it's also an amazing time to grow and to learn and to figure out, how you're going to be successful and what are those tools and what are your strengths and assets that's going to allow you to say, hey, when I'm ready to be on the pro tour full time, week after week after week, like I want to be well equipped. I want to be very prepared. I want to know what it's going to take and what I need to do and really having a clear pathway and plan and identity moving forward. So that's what we're here to do. And
Yep.
I love doing it.
So let's do a little situation here. If you go to Kalamazoo or you go to a UTR event or a Challenger event, or you sit there and you're watching a potential recruit, what do you look for? Like, every coach is different, but what are there certain things that you want to see on the court that attract you to your program?
Sure. And it's not just like, okay, I want this one style and it's got to be this guy that's, this guy has to have a massive serve and a massive forehand. Like, yes, that's great. And I'd love to have that. But, obviously there's different strengths and different ways to be successful at the highest level of the game. So, you're figuring what those things are. Hey, this guy's, awesome in that category, or this guy's, amazing mentally and a fighter or a defender, or serving volleying or coming to the net. There's so many different ways to go about that. So you're kind of figuring out, what those are, and do they have a lot of those, and obviously when there's some more of those things, it's great. But, guys that carry themselves well and are good between the ears, and, show some good character qualities, and really, show you some of those potential things that you could work with,
Yep.
and
Yep.
so hopefully some guys luckily have more than others, and you can see kind of what can work well, and some are better athletes than others. So if you're getting guys that are awesome athletes, that's a bonus too there. So you're kind of going through those those different things, and seeing kind of what they have, and also then what you feel that you can help them with. What do I feel in my skill set that I can contribute to their development, and kind of matching that together.
Cool. Well, that's good info. With the changing rules in college tennis, how lets, deciding points, all these things, how has that altered your coaching style, maybe in biggest moments? Do you feel like you are more hands off? I know there's a lot of people that are maybe against the over coaching, but obviously with these high pressure moments in college tennis, how do you handle those as a coach?
Sure. I mean, there's a part of it it's super exciting, and it's awesome when we get into all these tight moments, pressure moments, big points. This one point can change the match in so many different ways. So we try to educate our athletes to enjoy and embrace and really relish all those situations when they get put into that. No matter what the situation is and whoever we're playing against. But it's something where some kids like to be coached more, some don't like to be coached more. It's per every situation is different. The individualization still is a big part of that. So you kind of your player, what's going to help them best in those moments, and you're kind of filtering that information as the match is going and those situations are happening. So it's definitely not just the same for everybody. It's very unique, and it's in situation every single match in that specific moment. So
Interesting stat that I actually didn't know until I was doing some reading is I think you were coaching at South Florida when I was playing at Drake, and I played a Spanish guy on court 2. I cannot remember his name, and I'm pretty sure Roberto Cid was playing on court 1. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I was playing this Spanish guy. Do you know his name?
We had a Spanish guy, Nacho Gonzalez. So I don't know if it was
I
think
him. That might be him. Anyway,
Okay, yeah.
I was a very intense competitor, and I was actually playing maybe the best match of my life. I think I was up like 6:05 or 6:05:1, and I actually started to full body cramp. And I tried my absolute best to hide it from you because you were, trying to fix some things, right? Anyway, I went into a full body cramp and ended up winning like 6-3 or 6-4. But anyway, I thought that was a funny story, and I remembered when I was looking at it. So then I saw from South Florida, you actually coached on tour. Tell us a little bit about your experience, who you coached, some of the best players, and what you learned from that experience.
Sure. So, the beginning part of my career, I was with John Isner, his first year on tour. So he graduated or went to, after school, played a few tournaments on his own, and, called me up and said, hey, we were really good friends in college, got to know each other really well. So really close, so he asked me to do that. So I was with him his first year, worked through 6 months of the challengers, got the ranking up to top 100, got into Australian Open main draw to start the year, and kind of had those opportunities at the ATP events, for the rest of the year, from his ranking, not having to defend points for a while until that the next fall. So awesome growth for myself during that time to be at all the Grand Slams, lots of the top 1,000 masters, to be around some of the best coaches in the world, and to learn and grow from them, and became really good friends with them. To have that kind of connection and relationships over time really helped me in my own personal development. And so with him, that led me to several different WTA girls after that. Had Olga Govertsova, who was top 30
Right.
WTA. Had Isla Tomjanovic. Also got up to, I don't know, top 30, top 40. A little bit of a small time with Melanie Uden. And then from there, led me into some other high level junior players as well. So, got into some private stuff, one-on-one with some high level juniors, and guys that had success, on the ITF tour, had success in the junior stuff, making, finals at Kalamazoo and different things like that, as well as, from the junior sector. And then obviously tapped into, the college stuff, being in South Florida, being in Texas, now at Clemson.
Yep.
So just felt like, the journey kind of sometimes takes you where it takes you. But it's been really nice to have a wide range of experience, from the private stuff, one-on-one with players, from the juniors part, all the way up to the pro part, to then be into the college sector as well. And just have a really kind of balance of a lot of different lenses and different ways, in the sport.
Yep. So I have to apologize to anyone that listens to this because I'm actually putting Brandon on the spot. He has no preparation whatsoever. But if you are to think of favorite players in college that are no longer in college, it can be at Clemson, a Clemson alumni, it could be a player at Texas, or it could be a player at South Florida. Favorite players you have coached, not only because maybe they were good, but also other characteristics too. Who are they and why?
Sure. So some of the favorite players coached, Elliot Spizzirri, one of the recent ones, just, awesome character, great team leader.
Yeah.
Obviously had a lot of success. So just some amazing moments, through, having the trust, from him and his coaches, prior to committing to coming to Texas when I was there. Micah Braswell, another one that I spent some time with him before he decided to come to Texas as well. Amazing kid, amazing family. Just saw him here this last week at a future, so that was nice. Roberto was another one. Awesome experience, great kid. Sasha Gozin, another one who I worked with as a junior privately. He was one of those kids before coming to South Florida. So awesome to be a part of his journey. There's so many other little ones, in different ways, but just off the top there, definitely, several of those guys that, Cleve Harper, another amazing one. Just amazing story, amazing growth in college. Just saw him at the US Open, got to watch him play some doubles there. So just, awesome to see, some of the amazing stories and seeing some of these guys handle and go through so much, different challenges and adversity through their journey and persevering. So,
Well, something I heard you say a lot there was character, family, all these things to players that are listening. These things are really important to college coaches. So it's not all about hitting forehands and backhands. So last question. By UTR Power 6, you guys are currently ranked around 23, 22, 23, 24, somewhere around there. Obviously, this is your third year. Over the last few years, the team has continued to improve, which is great. What are your expectations this year? What are your goals? What's your schedule like? Can you explain to people what you're trying to accomplish in 25-26 season?
Sure. Great question. So, first off, the schedule is really strong. So, I feel like the schedule this year is probably definitely a notch up, maybe two in terms of strength of schedule. I still feel that we're in the strongest conference overall. But the other additional matches that I scheduled are some of the top teams. So the guys will be really challenged on a weekly basis with playing the best competition that college tennis has to offer. And part of that is part of the design from, the first day I showed up here, and kind of the progression that I've kind of in my plan put together. More of them have having, had experience now and being some upperclassmen, and knowing kind of what the landscape is. So happy about, the way the schedule has come together. It's also something that, like, every year is a new year, and when you're adding new guys, it doesn't necessarily mean just because you added maybe a new guy on paper that all of a sudden you're going to take another massive jump and be better from that standpoint. I mean, we hope so. But everybody's still, the new team has got to come together. They got to gel together. They got to get on the same page. They got to buy into to the system, and how we go about, the details and whatnot. So yes, I'm super excited with the group that I have. I truly believe that we could be one of the, in that elite group of the teams this season. Ultimately it's going to come down to a few points here and there.
Yep.
It's in
Yep.
several matches, but you hope that you can focus on the daily work, and focus on the details, individually and as a group, and let the results kind of take care of themselves.
That's great. Sorry, I have one more question. Have you met Dabo Sweeney?
I have. We cross paths a few times, in
Yep.
the hallways, but we have some head coaches meeting. So,
Yep.
yeah, definitely have crossed paths, and he's been super nice and willing to help, and yeah. So good guy.
That's great. Well, Brandon, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. As a reminder, their PTT is October 6th. Registration for that is actually closing on Monday. Looking forward to that one. And then they're also hosting one again at the end of October. So the whole team are going to get loads of matches, make some money, and be very well prepared for the spring. So, Brandon, thank you again.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Thanks for all that you're doing for college tennis.
Thanks, Brandon.
You got it.
There we go. And we'll do